Welcome to the Football Forecast presented by Sportsmemo. I am your host for today, Ronald Cabang, also known as UCapper. We have a great show lined up for you guys. I got two great cappers on the panel today to help us cash on some games this weekend. Before we bring out our panel, though, I do want to mention some of the Sports Memo promos for this weekend. We got the 3-day all access package for any one of your favorite Sports Memo cappers available for just $39. This should cover you for the full weekend of football, baseball, hockey, soccer, basketball, whatever sports we got going on right now that the handicappers are betting on. That's going to be available for you this weekend. Again, that's a 3-day all access package for $39. So head over to sportsmemo.com after the show and make sure you get that amazing deal. Use the promo code SMT3 at checkout. You could grab that deal. If you want an even better deal, what about $7 a day for the rest of 2022? Sports Memo has another promo going on right now through October 2nd. Get an all access package for the rest of 2022 from one of your favorite Sports Memo handicappers for $649. That's $319 off the regular price. It doesn't really matter your unit size. That's $7 a day for the rest of the year. That is an amazing deal. So make sure you check out the website there. And last one to note, the $2 Tuesday plays are still live. We got Ross, Nick Parsons, also known as the Insiders Room, and Dan Kaiser. Those plays go off this weekend. I think one of them is today as well. So make sure you check out the website to see which day that goes off. You can grab any one of their plays for just $2 or grab all three for $5. And that is it for the promos. So let's bring in our panel for today. We got Nick Parsons, the Insiders Room, and Kevin Thomas. I've heard a lot about you, Nick. This is first time working on the show with you. Kevin, we've done a few shows together, so we know each other pretty well. I'm pretty excited to be on the show with both of you guys here. It was a last minute hosting change, but hopefully I could fill in and do Joe justice here. But it is Friday. And, yesterday we had Thursday Night Football. We had an NFL game going on. First, I want to ask you guys, did you guys have any bets going off on the game yesterday? How did you do? And then second, the big news of Tua and how the Dolphins organization handled the whole situation with the concussion. Nick, what are your thoughts on that? And how did you do yesterday on your bets?
Yeah, unfortunately, I had the over in that one. I also had a lean to Cincinnati, but unfortunately, yeah, my paid play was on the over there, so I was definitely hoping for one of those a touchdown there on one of those downs at the end there. But as far as the way that the Miami handled the concussion, yeah, I guess that's up for debate as well. So overall, I did not like that game. But Ron, yeah, great to sort of do this show with you for the first time as well. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this Sunday, getting back on track and giving out some winners here for sure.
Yes, sir. How about you, Kevin? You watched the game yesterday?
I did. I had the Bengals headline, Thursday game, home team. I was a little worried because Tyreek Hill and the Eli Apple situation, with Eli calling him out and stuff. So I did put some money on Tyreek getting over the 72 and a half yards. I think he ended up with 160. I knew they would shut down Waddle. And I don't even know if they really shut him down. I think Tyreek Hill just said, feed me the ball, and they just fed it to him. So it was a must win for the Bengals. I mean, when that line jumped like that, it told you everything you needed to know. But, Tua don't get hurt. Who knows what happens there? But he should have never played to begin with. They're gonna be fine. The NFL will wash their hands of it and blame it on the team doctors. So nothing's really gonna get done from it, except Tua might, that might cost him his career. Who knows what's gonna happen? We'll see. So,
that was tough to watch such a young star, get carted off the field like that. Myself, I did have the Bengals there. I posted a trend on my Twitter. And it continues to do well. It's a Thursday night football trend since 2015. Teams coming off an outright win as a dog, and our dogs in Thursday night 0-12 straight up, 1-11 against the spread. That moves to 0-13 straight up and 1-12 against the spread. That was a fade of the Dolphins yesterday, but like you said, who knows what would have happened if Tua stayed on the field for the whole game. But I ended up catching that game. Good for us. But definitely thoughts and prayers to Tua and the Dolphins organization there. He's such a big part of that organization. With that said, man, let's move into talking about some winners. We got the Bills and the Ravens. We just talked about Tua being a young star. We got two young stars in this one, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. This is a non-divisional matchup here. The Bills are coming off a poor showing against the Dolphins. They lost that one 19-21. The Ravens are coming off a 37-26 win over the Patriots last week. Their offense is really clicking right now. They're put up 38 and 37 in back-to-back weeks. With the Bills struggling with injuries, primarily on the defensive side of the ball, is this going to turn into a shootout? Kevin, what are your thoughts on this one?
Watching the line drop, it kind of scares me a little bit. I called the Dolphins last time when I saw Micah Hyde was done for the season, or pretty much till unless they go into the postseason or to the playoffs. The Ravens can take full advantage of that. The pass, Lamar Jackson to Bateman and Duvenel, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The guy, the dude's a speedster, and that's what the Dolphins. Well, they held Tyreek in check. It was Waddle that did the damage against them. So I think Bateman could have a great game here. It is being played in the Ravens' home stadium, but I can't see the Bills losing 2 in a row. And I don't like the total just because it was like 54.5 or something, and now it's at 51. It kind of scares me a little bit. I might look at the props and see if I can find a prop, because I guarantee Josh Allen will outrush Lamar Jackson in this game. If one thing the Bills do, they're not a huge team, but they do stop the run. They do stuff the line up there and win in the trenches. So Josh Allen, he's a big guy. I know Lamar's fast, but Josh Allen's a whole nother character. So I think he's going to have more yards than Lamar Jackson in this game.
Man, that's a bold call right there. I know both of these guys like to run. I know play calling wise, they do a lot of, especially with the Bills, they do a lot of designed run plays for
Mac Jones
Josh
just
Allen.
had 40 yards against the Ravens.
Yeah.
40 some yards, 5 carries.
Exactly.
So Josh Allen will double that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with, like I was mentioning, like they do a lot of design run plays for Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. More of his rush is coming off of broken plays. So there's a big difference too right there with the play calling. Nick, how are you going to tackle this game?
Well, it's an interesting matchup for sure, and it appears as if the money's sort of split right down the middle. Both teams 2-1 straight up and 2-1 against the spread. Yeah, as you mentioned, the Bills off their first loss of the season, 21-19 setback at Miami as a 4-point favorite. So they're road favorite then. Now they're a road favorite again here. I mean, they're still putting up tons of points. They rank third. They average 30.3 points per game. But Baltimore, it lost to Miami in week 2 as well. That was the game that Tua had 6 touchdowns or whatever.
Sure.
And but then they bounced back. Lamar Jackson bounced back against the Patriots last weekend. So it's actually a pretty big game. The winner obviously it moves to 3-1, and the loser moves to 500. So I think it's going to be decided by the men under center, and I just think that Jackson's playing really good. And I think home field does matter here, and the Bills back-to-back road faves. I think it's a difficult spot, so I sort of like the Ravens and the points here.
Yeah, that's a good point there as far as being, home field advantage, and just the spot in general. One thing that I was looking at is the Ravens. They have a key divisional matchup against the Bengals next week. That's one thing that I was noting, but it's really tough to go against the Ravens here with the Bills having so many injuries on the defensive side of the ball. This is going to be a tough matchup. I think it's going to be one to watch, but one that's going to be hard to bet on. So that one's going to be a crazy game. I would love to watch that one. I feel like it's going to be too high powered offense. I know the total has been going down, but I can't see it anywhere but going over the total. So we'll see how that goes. And our next game, we go from 2 top tier offenses to middle of the pack offenses. The Broncos and Russell Wilson, they visit Derek Carr and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Broncos are 2-1 on the season, while ranked 31st in the league in scoring at 14.3 points per game, but they are in yards, total yards are in the middle of the pack as far as I think they're like 17th or 18th as far as total yards gained. The Raiders, they're 0-3 while ranked 11th in the league in scoring at 21.3 points per game. Looking at their records and their average points per game, we can kind of tell that there's a big gap between these two teams on the defensive side of the ball. Nick, how are you going to tackle this one, Broncos versus Raiders?
Well, I thought similar to you in the last game there, probably wouldn't be one that I would touch, and this probably won't be one that I'll touch either. But yeah, I think like a lot of people, I'm having a difficult time sort of getting a firm read on either of these teams. One thing we can say is that only 2.5% of teams that start off the season 0-3 even make the playoffs. So that's the position that the Raiders already find themselves in, basically looking ahead to next year. And then on the other side of the field, you got the 2-1 Denver Broncos, and they just paid Russell Wilson $220 million in the offseason. But he's been his performance has been less than exemplary. It's been less than convincing for sure. But this could be a great opportunity for Wilson, for Denver to sort of erase some of those doubts, and the Broncos, they could move to 3-1 here. And really, at that point, that's where most people thought they would be after 4 games. They would be at 3-1 here. And, the Chiefs, they're on the road. They're playing Tampa Bay. If they lose again, then they move to 2-2. Denver has the lead in that division. Obviously, the Raiders really, really, really need this win. But, yeah, I just think that their season is over, essentially. I mean, you go 0-4, then it's completely done for sure. But, yeah, I kind of like Denver here. And so I'm leaning to Denver.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 0-3 going to 0-4, that's really big here. So desperation definitely is on the Raiders side, but the Broncos being in that division with the rest of those top tier teams, they can't take a loss either. So yeah, it's really tough to see who has who is more desperate right now for a win at this point. Kevin, what are your thoughts on this one?
I like the Raiders at a pick 'em. The 2.5 kind of scared me a little bit, but I would still go with the Raiders here. Derek Carr has had great success against the Broncos. And I know it's Russell Wilson now, but I haven't seen anything to make me go, wow. I actually picked both these teams to make the playoffs. I had the Broncos and Chargers as 2 of my teams battling for the Super Bowl for the AFC championship game. So I don't know what's going on in LA there. This could be Daniels coaching for his job. I mean, he's already 0-3. Everyone had high hopes. Devontae Adams, you give up a first and second round pick to my Packers. You steal our guy. And game 1, you throw him the ball like 17 times. After that, he's going to get doubled. He's Devontae Adams. You just got to – I don't know if Derek Carr needs an open receiver, if he can't just throw to a spot. I mean, he had Aaron Rodgers who would just tell him this is where the ball is going to be, get there, and it worked. I don't know what's going on there, but, in that first game, he neglected Renfro and everybody else, Waller. So the Raiders need to figure things out. I just don't think the Broncos can score enough points. I mean, everyone forgets the Raiders have a great pass rush. If they can get some pressure on Russell Wilson, he's not taking off running like he used to. There are 3 games against the Seahawks, Texans, and 49ers. Last time I looked, that's 3 backup quarterbacks. And, yeah, Jimmy G is a backup quarterback. He's overrated. That's why they went and got Trey Lance. Trey Lance got hurt. Jimmy G came in. He looked great, and then he didn't look great. So I'm not sold on who the Broncos have beat. They had that huge home field. It's hard to breathe there. I went there. I had headaches for a week. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Raiders minus the 2.5. Derek Carr needs to show up and win this game, or maybe he needs to find another job with his head coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Another thing too is it moved from, I feel it's looking like it opened at -1, -1.5, and now it's at 2.5 now. So the line it seems like it's telling us a story. A team is 2-1 versus a team that's 0-3, and the 0-3 team is the favorite. So that would probably be the a way that the line could be telling you a story, but at the same time, both of these teams are really just tough to read like Nick said here. So that's a tough game to bet on there, but the good information from both of you guys. We move to our third game. We got the Chiefs and the Bucks here. Mahomes visiting Brady. This is a 2020-2021 Super Bowl rematch, but Buccaneers came away with that one. Chiefs still have some guys from that squad. Is this something that, do you guys look at these types of angles here, like rematch, Super Bowl rematches, especially when it's a couple years away? Is that something that comes into play on your capping, or do you totally discredit that at all just because it's a different year, different team, and all that stuff? Nick, what are your thoughts?
Each situation is different, but for sure, I mean, sometimes it does mean something depending on the situation coming in, and other times it's completely meaningless. And that would sort of seem what this would be, sort of meaningless at this point, other than, Mahomes would like to win this game and put on a show against a Brady that would appear to be a little less than 100%.
Yeah, that's what my thoughts exactly too. It's been a couple years. I heard a lot of rematch, rematch or ideas on Twitter, and teams saying, or people saying that, oh, Mahomes want this because they lost that game. But like you said too, a couple years ago, I feel like it's a little bit out of the way at this point. Are you going to be betting on this one, or what are your angles on or thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it's another really interesting matchup, and yeah, two teams that are familiar with each other. The Chiefs, they've lost 2 straight against the spread after their 20-17 loss at Indianapolis last weekend. They were 4.5-point favorites in that one. Now they're 1-point underdogs here on the road against a banged up Tampa team that's coming off its first loss of the season, a 14-12 setback to Green Bay. And so these two teams are sort of doing it in different areas. The difference, in the early going, the Chiefs, they're averaging 29.3 points per game. They're allowing 21.7. The Bucks, they're only averaging 17 points per game and only allowing 9 points per game. So when I'm looking at it, I just think that these two defenses are really underrated. I'm sort of leaning to the under in this one. Kansas City struggled against the Colts last weekend. I think they're going to have a more difficult time against the Bucks. And in fact, over the last 3 games against the Bucks, they've only averaged 17.6 points per game. Kansas City has. So that's my strongest lean. In this one, I like the under.
Yeah, that's a good look there. I see the total open at 48.5 down to 45.5. So it looks like the market is agreeing with you there. Kevin, what are your thoughts on this one? You agree with the under, or you're looking at the side on this one?
I think we're going to have Evans back, right? And if Godwin's a go, I'm looking at the over because Tom Brady's going to put on a show. He's been sitting idle now for the past 3 games. And look, game 1, Dallas Cowboys, you can say what you want about that stink fest. They have a great defense. I don't see the Chiefs' great defense. I mean, hell, they let the Honey Badger go. I thought he was their best defensive player. So I think Tampa Bay steamrolls them. I didn't even have the Chiefs making the playoffs this year. They let Tyreek, and he spreads that field wide open. He's gone now. I mean, you're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They probably have the best linebacker that gets no credit in White. He's going to shut down Kelsey. That's the weapon. Everyone in fantasy, Travis Kelsey went in the first round of everyone's draft, and there's a reason why. That's Patrick Mahomes' go-to guy. He's a stud. But if there's a team that's going to shut him down, it's the Bucs, and they shut him down. Patrick Mahomes tends to sometimes cough the ball up a couple times trying to make some throws. I mean, where the hell is Juju Schuster? They signed him, and I thought he was going to be the slot guy, the go-to guy. He's been a non-factor. I think if the Bucs have, they got Gage. I'm pretty sure he's going to play. Evans, he's off suspension. If Godwin goes, I mean, they're full throttle. And with that defense, 9 points per game, that's unbelievable. And I mean, they did against Packers who had no weapons. Cowboys, well, everyone thought Cowboys, CD Lamb, you thought they were going to put up a lot. So Mahomes, he does bring a better offense, but it is on the road. And Tom Brady, like most, doesn't lose 2 in a row. I'm not a Buck fan. I hate the Patriots even more, but I give Tom Brady respect for his age. That he comes out, he brings it, and he gets his team fired up, and he will have his team fired up for this one.
Yeah, that's a great take on that. I think Tampa's defense is legit as well. I'm a big Devin White fan as well, so I know where you're coming from as far as how he impacts the game on the defensive side of the ball. Definitely a great matchup, in my opinion. You're going from a future Hall of Famer to someone who's probably should be in the Hall of Fame while he's still already playing. Brady is just a legend, and Mahomes is on his way there. But he did, their offenses has changed a little bit with Hill out of the picture. So I can't wait to watch this game as well. I think we have a lot of great matchups and stories into this week's slate, and that's definitely one of them. So that's 3 breakdowns from Nick and Kevin. This is going to lead us into the best bet section. We're going to have, let's have Kevin go first. Kevin, talk about your best bet for the show today, and also talk about what you have on the premium side over at Sports Memo.
Oh, yeah, tonight. That Pac-12 game's going off tonight, and I got a huge premium play on that. So make sure to go over there, check that out. Also, make sure to smash that subscribe button. The more we get, the better content you get, the more free winners you get. They'll probably put some more shows on, too. So keep filling up all those views. And NFL Sunday, you'll get that Saturday night. And probably my college football, I'll start putting on either around midnight tonight and stuff. Like I say, if I can't get the line early, juicy, then I'll wait until the public starts doing their betting and see where the line sits. I mean, I took Utah State last night, and that was a nice, easy win there after everyone was pumping up the other side of, what was that, BYU? So make sure you just wait, sit back, and you'll get some good stuff. But I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers here. We knew he was going to start slow, and he started like he was in cement week 1 against the Vikings. I think he was under 200 yards. So right now we're seeing 228.5 passing yards for minus 115. That's chump change to him at home. It's against the Patriots. The Patriots are going to look at more stopping the run. The Packers have now become a run-oriented team. They want to get Dylan and Aaron Jones going. So Aaron Rodgers, as I think they're 9-point favorites here, he's going to pick apart that secondary. That secondary is pretty banged up, or I don't even think they have really anybody that good. The Patriots tend to try to get after stuff the run and then send everybody back. They do more of a zone. So Aaron Rodgers is pretty veteran savvy that he could pick them apart. And I think the new kid Dobbs, he's going to have a big game here. And I think Tunya's going to get some yards too. So 228.5, I think that's a steal. I see Aaron Rodgers finishing about 255. That's what he put up against the Bucs, who have a way better defense than the Patriots.
I actually like that play a lot, Kevin. I think one thing to know about Rodgers is when he has a team that he knows he can defeat, he doesn't let up. He kind of likes to run up the score and his yardage against teams that he knows he can beat. Yeah, exactly. So that's actually a really good play, especially with them being 9.5-point favorites. You can see that they're probably gonna run up the score there, and Rodgers be a key part of that. Nick Parsons, the Insiders Room. What's your best bet? And talk about what you got going on the premium side as well.
Yeah, a bounce back in college football last weekend, went 75%. And so looking to build on that this weekend. We already have our card loaded. And yeah, we're off to a winning start in the NFL and already have some NFL loaded as well. So go check all those out at the Insiders Room over at Sports Memo, guys. Take advantage of all those different options that Ron was giving out at the start of the show. But for my best bet here for the show, I'm going to suggest a play on Philadelphia. When I'm looking at these two teams, I mean, I am a little bit surprised by these two teams, and I guess I would be a little less surprised if they each came in with losing records at this point, but that's not the case. Obviously, Jacksonville is 2-1 straight up. It's 2-1 against the spread. It destroyed the Chargers 38-10 in Los Angeles last weekend. So I think that, Trevor Lawrence, he's not going to be intimidated here coming into Philadelphia. I think he's loving the way that this is playing out so far. Jacksonville actually averages 28 points per game. That's 7th overall. The Jaguars are averaging a healthy 123.3 rushing yards per game. That ranks 10th. 252.3 yards through the air. That ranks 10th as well. But yeah, then you have on the other side of the field, Philadelphia. It's 3-0 straight up. It's 2-1 against the spread. Now everyone out there is talking as if Philadelphia is for sure the team to beat in the NFC. They average 28.7 points per game. That's 5th. And that includes 296.7 yards per game through the air. That's third overall, 153 yards rushing, which is fifth. So there's lots of different storylines in this game. Of course, Doug Peterson's returning to his old stomping grounds. He'll be looking to pull off the upset here with Lawrence, who has really done well underneath this offense. He has 772 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, just the 1 interception. James Robinson has 230 rushing yards. But yeah, I mean, the Eagles last weekend, they completely dominated Carson Wentz and the Commanders on the road there. Hurts, he already has 916 passing yards and 4 touchdowns with 1 interception through the air, but he also has 167 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. So yeah, as I said, I think this is a really interesting matchup for sure. But it totally appears that Jacksonville has improved underneath Peterson in just a short amount of time. The Eagles are arguably the best team in the league right now. But yeah, I think that the Eagles are still the correct call here. The Jaguars, they actually have a home game against the Texans next weekend. So that's sort of a look ahead. They're sort of in their head, a gimme that they can win that one. Philadelphia has a much tougher game at Arizona. And so this isn't too big of a spread. I think that the Eagles can cover that touchdown. And so that's my best bet for the show. Go Philly.
Go Philly, Kevin. I think you might appreciate this. I'm a big Philly fan. I got a Jalen Hurts auto there. So
Wow.
If they win, the value of my Jalen Hurts auto will go up.
You put that up.
I hope that goes. I hope that goes.
I will bet Doug Peterson gets a 2-minute standing ovation in that game.
Why is that?
Well, he won a Super Bowl there. Those fans, man. I went there when they played the Packers, and I had to take my gear off because I was going to get beat up, and I was in $500 seats. So they respect that man. So that's a lot of points for respect. So
definitely.
I mean, everyone always talks about how they can't believe the Jaguars and Texans, but if you think about it, how many first-round picks has these two teams accumulated over the past 3 years? I mean, they should be good. I mean, I thought last year the Jaguars were going to be really good, and Myers was he was just a horrible coach. I mean, he was more worried about partying with the college chicks. But I mean, Philly should win that game hands down. But it's going to be it's going to be close.
Yeah, Jags. Jags have a bright future. I think, especially with how they started this year. A lot of things have changed as far as culture wise, and you can kind of see that they're really buying into the system there, and that's going to go a long way. You have a good chemistry on the team. That always helps put together, get players together on the same side and all that stuff. So that's definitely something I see there with the Jaguars and the Eagles as well. For me, I don't have a best bet today, but I do want to drop a nice trend. I did drop that trend earlier that on my Twitter that won yesterday with the Bengals, and I want to drop another trend here. Since 2017, road favorites coming off of a loss as a favorite and isn't looking ahead to a divisional matchup the next week. There's 37-13-2 against the spread. The trend is 2-1 so far this season. It's active on 2 games. It's backing both the Bills and the Chargers to bounce back from their losses last week. As far as on the premium side, I got my college plays up for the weekend. NFL plays are going to be up today by the end of today. I also have a nice promo that Sportsmemo put together for me. I'm Sportsmemo's #1 all-time profit leader in the NBA. And as you guys are probably aware, the NBA is going to be here next month. I am very, very excited for that to come back and hope to tack on to my lead as #1 NBA profit leader at Sportsmemo. That's what's going on the premium side. And sorry there was no best bet. I took on this hosting role last minute today. I hope Joe and Dion are doing well. I know Joe usually is the host for this show, and he does an amazing job. But definitely hope they can come back next week. Nick and Kevin, it's been a pleasure working with you guys today. Before we cut out, I do want to talk about the promos again one more time because they're really, really great deals. $39 for the 3-day all-access package for your favorite Sportsmemo capper on the website today. That's going to cover you. If you get it today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that should cover you for all football and all of the major sports. EPL, if you do soccer, Premier League is coming back this weekend as well. So a lot of things going on. Take advantage of that 3-day all-access package. The other one is also the $7 a day for the rest of 2022. Altogether, it adds up to $649, which is $319 off the regular price. But $7 a day for the rest of 2022 is such an amazing deal for all the handicappers at Sports Memo. So make sure you guys check out the website and check out those deals. With that said, that is the end of the show today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope we gave you guys some winning information and we cash on our best bets and also any of the plays that we talked about. With that said, good luck with all your action. Till next time, take care.